Hey everyone, I'm Lily from Siser, and today I'm super excited to show you a brand new product. If you have done sublimation before, you might be aware that Siser glitter heat transfer vinyl can be sublimated on, and we have a video on that process on our YouTube channel. After that video came out, you guys had a lot of questions about what other HTV could you sublimate on, and unfortunately at the time the answer was none. So we made a video to explain that process as well. So you can find that here on our YouTube channel. But what do you do if you still want to sublimate without all that sparkle? We finally have a solution for you guys, and stick around, we're about to talk all about it. EasySubli is a matte heat transfer vinyl that's receptive to sublimation inks. Sounds too good to be true, right? But it gets better. EasySubli can go on at a really low temperature of 310 degrees Fahrenheit for 10 to 15 seconds. So you can now sublimate on 100% cotton, you can sublimate on dark polyester, and as well as tri-blends that are really popular right now. So you have all these other options, whereas before with traditional sublimation, you could only sublimate on light 100% polyester. Are you guys ready to see how it's done? So the first thing you want to do when you're in Silhouette Studio is open up a new print and cut window, which has built-in registration marks for you. From there, you just want to make sure that it is set to your current printer, which will adjust the size to 8.5 by 11. And you want to be in landscape orientation, which we already are. We just want to make sure that all of our print and cut borders are showing. Open up the image we'll be using, which is this cool Vegas cowboy. So I'm going to use the trace tool, select my trace area, and then use the threshold bar or the up and down arrows to fill it in with yellow and trace the outer edge. Now this cut line is directly on top of my other colors, and I actually want it to be a little bit on the inside so I have space for a color bleed. So how I'm going to create that line is use an internal offset on this cut line I've already created, and it will create another line on the inside. But I actually already know that I need this one to be 0.035, but you guys could use the distance bar or the up and down arrows to figure out exactly what you need. Hit apply or enter to create that line. Then you want to very carefully separate out the inner one and delete the older, larger line. Now you're going to grab both of your bleed cut line and your image, center them together. So you can do horizontal, vertical, centered. And now we want to group them together by Control G. And now I only have to grab one, and they're both moving together. From here I can move it into the print and cut file that we opened by copying and pasting it. And now I can see when I resize the image exactly how much space I have allowed for it. When the Sawgrass is done printing, let the ink cure underneath the heat press for 1 minute. Alright, so once you have your EasySubli loaded onto the mat and loaded into your cutter, you want to double check and make sure that your cut line is active. It will be bold and red if you're using the first tool holder, which is typically an auto blade, but you can also use a ratchet blade. And we are going to select material, heat transfer. Flocked is pretty close to what I'll be using, but we're actually going to have blade 3. speed 8, and force 15. So once you have those in place and your cut line is active, you can go ahead and send it to the cutter.
EasySubli applies at 310 degrees for 10 to 15 seconds. Because this design is actually one big piece without multiple pieces, I don't need to use a mask. I can just delicately peel this off. And I can put that right on the tote bag and press it down. But first we're gonna prep it. Set that aside. I've already put a heat transfer pillow inside of my tote bag so that I have even pressure across the whole area and it doesn't let the seams of the handles get in the way. I'm gonna place a heat transfer cover sheet on top and just press it for a few seconds. This is a good time if you need to adjust your pressure. EasySubli requires medium pressure, so I can still dial it back a little bit. Still quite a bit of force. Right there is probably good. So now I've removed any moisture or wrinkles from my tote bag, so I'll have a nice press. I'm gonna take the EasySubli and place it with the printed side facing up. Right in the center there. Definitely want to put a cover sheet on top. Because the EasySubli is printed with inks, they could transfer to your upper platen, so you want to make sure you use a cover sheet or even just a piece of parchment paper in case some of the inks even transfer over to the cover sheet, which is possible. We'll place that right on top. And all we need is 10 seconds. Well, 10 to 15. 10 for this project. All right. And that heat just makes the colors pop and they really, really come out. And you can see the gases a little bit from the sublimation ink still going. So you definitely want to make sure you wait 24 hours before your first wash. But other than that, you have a great new bag. But what do you do if your design has multiple pieces? For example, we have this graduation artwork and we would probably lose the D and the 2 if we just peeled it up. So I'm gonna take a piece of mask and separate it from the liner. And then you're going to take the mask and lay it directly on top of your print. You can use a squeegee to really make it grip. And we're gonna separate it and pick it up with the mask. So now we don't have to hand place all of those little pieces and we're ready to press it onto our shirt. So I'm gonna use my cover sheet, even though the mask is on top, a cover sheet just helps protect everything. Take the press, place it right on top, and start the timer. We're gonna press down with medium pressure. I have my timer set to 10 seconds and my temperature is at 340 degrees. That's what we find works best. Pick it back up as soon as it beeps at me. Oh, those colors look great now. So when you mask it, you wanna take a minute before peeling it, move it off the hot surface or the hot platen that it was on, and then we're gonna peel, peel, peel. Perfect. What a great way to remember your recent graduate.